Hi everyone, it's Tara Bianca with Be Light Transformative Therapy, and today I want to talk about if physical beauty is functional, if it serves a purpose, and how it may or may not impact our overall health. Why is this coming up as a topic today? You know, I just released these 3 brand new video series in my Be Light store for anxiety relief. And one of my colleagues just went through my self-massage for anxiety relief video series, and she gave me a review on it. And what's interesting to me is that while I designed all of the stretches and the self-release techniques in that video series to help calm the nervous system and to really help get you out of acute bouts of anxiety, my colleague happens to also be a beauty specialist. So as a side note, she owns a company called Silent Beauty, which offers this amazing line of beautiful, totally clean, non-toxic, unisex body care products. So I'll be sure to include that link in the video description so you can check it out. So she had this experience with the self-massage for anxiety relief video series of Tara. Not only are these exercises really useful for reducing anxiety, but they're also really useful for promoting better circulation, lymphatic drainage, collagen production, and they really sort of have this anti-aging quality to them. So if you haven't tried my self-massage for anxiety relief video series yet, all of the exercises in that video collection are essentially happening from the shoulders up. So really focused on shoulder, neck, head, and face. And I'm really focused on the vagus nerve, the facial nerve, and the trigeminal nerve. And the whole point of the exercise is to decompress some of those sensitive structures, to really reduce pain and tension, and then to promote better circulation and lymphatic flow as well. So this review she gave me was a really powerful reminder of just how true it is that structure really determines function. And this is a really popular adage that we have in the manual therapy world, in the osteopathy world, and in the functional movement world. But then the question becomes, well, maybe structure doesn't just determine function. Maybe structure also in some way determines beauty, and that beauty has an underlying functional quality to it. It serves some kind of purpose for our overall health. So as practitioners, we tend to really harp on good posture, correct posture, proper biomechanics, proper sort of muscular recruitment patterns, proper anatomical alignment. And it's not just because that strong and correct structure really serves for better efficiency, performance, and functionality, but also aesthetically, it just tends to look more attractive, right? So healthier people, more symmetrical people, people with really excellent posture and biomechanics tend to be more attractive and more desirable. And so I think this fits in with the typical model of natural selection and evolution that so many of us grew up learning about. And so we think that we are selecting based on aesthetics, but then when you dig a little deeper, you realize, oh, a person who looks that way also probably has more desirable genes that I really want to pass to my offspring. So we're normally selecting for this thing called fitness, and then the beauty aspect is just the cherry on top. So another story related to this is that I have a friend who's in medical sales, and specifically cosmetic treatments like fillers and things of that nature. And so she and I just fundamentally have a difference in opinion on this topic, on this idea of cosmetic interventions for the sake of beautifying the body. So real quick, if it's not already abundantly clear to you guys, I'm not really into beauty per se. Well, I would say I have a lot of vanity actually, a lot of vanity when it comes to my physical body and feeling fit, feeling strong. And I do tend to get self-conscious if I perceive myself as not looking as good as I think I could, or when I perceive myself as just being out of shape. But when it comes to sort of standard beauty practices, it's totally not my bag. So I don't think I've owned a piece of makeup in probably over 15 years. And at this point, you'd probably have to tie me down to get it on my face. I just really am not about it. And then in terms of hair, I mean, forget about it. Like, I have one hairdo. It's the only thing that I can ever do. I never really learned anything about hair. So, you know, regardless of if I'm wearing an evening gown or I'm just in my pajamas, I kind of have one face and one hairdo, and that's it. And I think it comes from the fact that I just don't want to put my time and energy there. You know, I think I'm very much about pragmatism and functionality, and I just don't see the functionality of investing my time in that way. And then on top of it, because I'm so obsessive about what I put into and what I put on my body, I just have a hard time accepting that people are injecting substances into their body or just applying a lot of substances onto their skin in the name of beauty. Now, that's not a judgment on anyone who does really value those things, but for me, myself personally, I just can't make that choice. I wouldn't choose to make that choice for myself. So my friend's point, though, this medical sales professional, is that beauty and beauty rituals and really taking the time to beautify oneself is a really powerful form of self-care, of self-empowerment, and a big contributor to mental and emotional health. And so, you know, I can really get behind that. I can see that paying greater attention to oneself and one's body and one's appearance can really kind of powerfully be a form of self-love and self-nourishment. And I can also understand that the more confident we feel about our appearance, the more it affects how we go out and present ourselves in the world and how we're perceived by others. I guess as a woman, I just feel some amount of resentment, or maybe I just feel badly that women on the whole have gotten this messaging that they need to cover themselves up with these masks in order to feel good about themselves and in order to be accepted by society. But now that I'm playing around more with facial exercises, facial massage, face yoga techniques, I'm really starting to come around to understanding my friend's point of view better. Meaning I'm starting to see how beauty, the concept of beauty, can have an aspect of functionality to it. Meaning that even though someone might engage in those practices of self-maintenance, of facial massage, of face yoga, etc., for aesthetic purposes, as I mentioned earlier, there's a real functional aspect to all of those exercises and all of those techniques in terms of releasing tension, reducing pain, improving lymph flow, improving circulation, in some cases improving airway health, improving confidence, etc., etc. So I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Do you think that beauty can be functional and serve a purpose for your overall health? Do you think that the people who we see as being the most beautiful people in the world might potentially also be the healthiest people in the world? Where do you see this line between beauty and overall health? Okay, and then even though this little add-on is going to extend this video substantially, I still wanted to throw this little monkey wrench into the conversation because I find this conversation and this topic so fascinating. So apparently this whole ideology of natural selection according to fitness and the idea of survival of the fittest, this was heavily promoted by naturalist Alfred Russel Wallace, who lived into the early 20th century. But if you go back now and you take a look at Darwin's original theories, there's really a blend there that includes the possibility of selection based on aesthetics and perceived beauty just for the sake of beauty. So that is a huge holy moly revelation, because I don't think most of us were taught, at least I was not taught this, that an individual might select a mate based on aesthetics alone without that underlying element of fitness, or in the case of the conversation I'm having here, of functionality. So then in 2017, this book comes out called The Evolution of Beauty by Richard Prum. And the whole book is sort of devoted to this concept that you see a lot of examples in the natural world of selection based on beauty and aesthetics alone and not on fitness at all. The mind-blowing example of this is a bird called the club-winged manakin. So this is a small bird native to South America, and basically over time, the females select it for males who were able to produce this amazing, enchanting, beautiful sound with their wings. And yes, there is a video, and yes, I've included it in the video description. But in order for the males to create this sound that just drives the ladies wild, their wing bones had to fully ossify and solidify. Now, if you know a little bit about birds, most flying birds have hollow bones, and this just makes them lighter, faster, more agile, and better able to navigate. But now the club-winged manakins, they have these dense, thick bones. And while that allows them to produce this beautiful sound, at least to the female manakin's ears, this doesn't allow them to fly very well. So they can't fly long distances, they're kind of slow and sluggish, and consequently this makes them very vulnerable to predation. And the real clincher is that this dense bony tissue has to begin developing early on in the embryo stage, meaning both males and females develop these thick, not really functional wings, even though the females never use these wings to produce that sound. So the female club-winged manakins then were essentially willing to sacrifice the overall well-being of the entire species just for the opportunity to continue to hear this beautiful sound that they just happen to really like. If this topic is as interesting to you as it is to me, then you have got to listen to this episode of RadioLab called The Beauty Puzzle. It is spectacular, it's super entertaining, it's totally worth a listen. I'll be sure to link to it in the video description. In any case, I'm obviously not a naturalist, but I do believe in looking to the natural world for insights into our own human behavior. And this conversation just kind of leaves me wondering where that line is between fitness, functionality, beauty, and overall health, and also how the choices that we make as individuals can profoundly impact the health of the entirety of the species for generations to come. What do you guys think about this topic? I'd love to hear your responses in the comments below. And if you do go check out that episode on RadioLab, please come back and leave your reactions below so that I can read them. That's it for today. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Also, if you haven't already, please check out my totally free Breath Basics 6-Day Challenge, my brand new Be Light store, and also my private online Be Light community. And if you'd like to further support the channel, you may always do so by visiting my Buy Me a Coffee page. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.